by saying, ladies and gentlemen, this journey we are on started around the 26th of October 2018. We asked for all of us to provide some position papers on the reform of the industry, including the repealing of IPA. We got different position papers from all of you. Then we had some roundtable meetings. After those roundtable meetings, we then met in December, I think it was around the 14th of 2018 at Pandari, and we started the conversation. From there, we never looked back in terms of our consultative approach as guided by the minister. We moved on, we met in Mutare, we met in Nyanga, we met in several places. I think the hotel industry or the tourism industry, they owe us some free rooms because we have been in their rooms to talk. And out of every conversation that we've had, we came up with something that was good for our country. The spirit and the attitude, the tone of our conversation has always been cordial, has always been genial, has always been accommodative. Now, we are here because when we were doing the ZMC Act, or bill then, we realized that there were certain points of departure. And the idea of having a Zimbabwe Media Practitioners Bill, or Act, was there. But at that point, some elements of it were supposed to go into the Zimbabwe Media Commission Bill. We had so many stalemates until the current Minister of Justice suggested that the elements which we were not agreeing on, we leave them aside, we set them aside, and incorporate them in the next bill, which will be the Zimbabwe Media Practitioners Bill, so that we don't delay the enactment of the Zimbabwe Media Commission Act. So that was done. After the Zimbabwe Media Commission Act had been, passed and ascended by the president, we restarted this journey. We wanted, as a ministry, the minister guided that we needed this bill as a practitioner's bill, as a professional bill, to come from the players themselves. So we asked for the players to give us what they had. They gave us what they had. We spoke with the Zimbabwe Media Commission itself, which is the Constitutional Commission, a Chapter 12 Commission. The Commission was not happy with a few things in there, which they felt were usurping their authority. They were the delegating authority. They were supposed to delegate the responsibilities which the subordinate bodies were supposed to have. So a lot of disagreements happened, but there are conversations. Happened until the minister guided that us as a ministry were supposed to now drive this thing by coming up with a draft bill which we would circulate and discuss with all parties and then come together to write to a ratio to frame it. I think that's basically the journey we've traveled to be here. So the draft bill was done, or our position paper as a ministry, circulated to all of you, and we met different groups or different associations separately. So we met MAS with MISA, which is, MISA is part of MAS, I believe, and we also met the ZMC separately. And now we said, having taken all positions, we said, now let's all meet in one room, so that the minister would guide us on how to proceed with our conversations, which has been scheduled for the next 2 days, starting today. Now, in my presentation, I've said the minister, the minister, the minister, the minister. Who is this minister? Well, our minister is Honorable Senator Mchango. She's a mother, she's a grandmother. She has a long history of serving this country. Service before Zimbabwe was Zimbabwe, service after Zimbabwe became an independent nation. Service in different sectors, service in diplomatic services, service as a government deputy minister in many, many ministries. and now she's serving as a minister. Now, what has she done since she started serving as a minister? Well, the first thing that you can point out at is exactly what Mr. Tabani Moyo said. Those who were not seeing eye to eye are now embracing. That's credit to her as a minister. She came into the ministry when Zimbabwe had one television station. Now we are breaking of quite a number. I think we are hovering around 8 and 9. So I think she deserves a pom-pom. Thank you for that. And she came into the ministry when Zimbabwe had no single, not even one, community radio stations. Now, areas which hitherto had no access to information, especially from a radio, have it. And we are rolling out 14 community stations that were registered, and hopefully, at the very least, by the end of the year, 8 of them must be live on air, at the very least. So, we are grateful for that. She came to the ministry when the ministry had no single female director. Absolutely nil. We've got one here now. But it's not only one. There are more we left behind, and deputy directors as well, and more coming. So the gender agenda is still on the agenda. She came into the ministry when some of you would hesitate to come to see us. And now we are brothers and sisters. Ladies and gentlemen, can you put hands together for Honorable Senator Monica Mshaba?
Church continent is not the more than 200 or something. I looked short. Was this deliberate to make me short?
Do special effects.
Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary. It is truly by God's grace that I'm here. Because just yesterday, we had our cabinet yesterday, and the Vice President called me and said, Monica, and another minister, we want you at the State House at 9. So I said, at that time, I said, yes, I'll be there. The presidents want you. And I said, yes, I'll be there. Then I thought about it seriously, and I said, I've committed myself to meet very important people, which is you. And I went back and said, I'm sorry, Vice President, would you allow me to send in my Vice Minister, my Deputy Minister, Honorable Kamparadza? And then he looked at me and said, it's the President who asked me. I said, but I have to attend this very important meeting. So he understood me, and this is why you are not seeing my Deputy Minister. He will join you later, but there was a very special meeting which I have been called for at the State House. So you are very, very important to me.
Thank you.
I want to thank the Director of Ceremonies. Some call them EG, maybe with a small EG. And Director, Mr. Tabani Moyo from NISA. And thank you for the wonderful words which you gave us here when you were opening up this workshop. And we saw it in many Zimbabweans, the value they put in being who they are and how they came to be who they are, to call your country motherland. So we really thank you very much. My permanent secretary, who has just spoken and introduced me, I thank you very much. We have been moving on this journey together to make sure that we become sisters and brothers, mothers and sons. I had when we started the MC he talked about how emotional this journey has been, and I want to say we are here because we all want to be here, and we will continue to get to where we all want to go. We are the media, so we are very important. The Director for Legislation Drafting for the Attorney General's Office, Mr. James Mukaratirwa, we are aware of the work you've been putting into this and the commitment you have to make sure that we get where we want to go as the media sector in this country. We would like to move as a bloc, not them and us, but all of us moving together. The chairperson, and before I go to all those people, protocol calls, that I am very honored and very grateful that we do have our Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Media, ably led by Honorable Kone. They are very supportive, and we are very grateful that we are moving together. And your colleague, Honorable Tendai Nyaban, is it Nyaban? And Honorable Denford Masia, we have seen you when we were in Nyanga, when we were in Chiredzi, when we were in Mani. We are very appreciative of your. I then want to salute the chairperson for the Zimbabwe Media Commission, Professor Rudy Magosungu. Vataura neshona kana akanditi tiri ku Heroes kuti kangotaura neshona muZimbabwe vakafunda maningi isisana samanyika kunyanya kwangu kwatinobva kana usina kuende kwatsambia unofunda bani. So I am happy to have you. She's also from Manika, chairperson of the Zimbabwe Media Commission, Professor Magosungu. Then I feel it's very, very important to honor all those coming from the Attorney General's office. There's a lot of work, overwhelmed. There's a number of laws which need to be aligned to the new constitution, and I know how you are overwhelmed, but we, with our own, we will continue to push you. Please forgive my permanent secretary when he continues knocking at your door, because we want this to go through and finish it down. We need to salute. I've just been told the academia from the university. As you were introducing yourselves, I feel very happy that we do have the dean. Is it from the University of Zimbabwe? Thank you very much for being here. We need to move with everyone, and we are happy you are here. That's the Deputy Dean of Law. And then I know there are representatives from many more representatives from the Attorney General's Office, Zimbabwe Media Commission, ZBC, Zuj, Makorokoto, the newly appointed president of Zakras is here. We're happy with the way we're working together and to make sure that we operate all the community radio stations which have been given licenses, and we work together all the time. Ndinotenda zvikuru muri pano ndichatauremisa zvinomatita kuti tinge tiri pano. Tiri kutenda zvikuru. Mas, I'm very grateful. As a patron, I'm very proud of the work you're doing to make sure that you stand your foot. You are there in this country. The last time I saw you partnering with a group dealing with our young people who have fallen to this drug abuse, I felt very, very happy that this is what it means. And for that, we are very grateful. ZINEP is here, Zim Papers, Young Journalists Association of Zimbabwe. If I got you right, you see, when you introduce yourself, I try to get your names. Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, Joyce Aripo, Gender Connect. This is wonderful. Are we here? I didn't get to hear them when they introduced themselves. They're there, right? Media monitors, yes, I did actually. The representative is here, and of course, my Ministry of Information Publicity and Broadcasting Services. I want to thank all the members of the Fourth Estate who are here, ladies and gentlemen, my dear comrades and friends. It is really my singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to this Media Practitioners Bill right show. We've met in the past and we always try to make sure. I remember when we started meeting with our stakeholders, there was some mumbling going on in other corners. And they thought, is this the right thing which we're doing? And I said, this is the right thing I believe should be done. And I'm happy that the principal, when he gave me this mandate, he said everybody should be brought on board. Zimbabwe is for us all. It is our country together. We need to move together. I don't know, ndataura ziti MMT. Ndikona mungosho wakanditarisa.
Mama is done.
Kana paine oda jamba mundiregere. Asi ndinokuremekedza inesi. So I was talking about the importance I put in these workshops, the importance I put in these stakeholder consultative workshops. They are important. We want to move with you, we want to move with everybody. Not kana mBhayibheri vanoziva Bhayibheri vanonzi kana uchida kufamba uchida ku ndiani angati vanhu vanoziva Bhayibheri kuti famba nevamwe ukafamba wega hauna kwaunoenda. Ndingabvunzi mangwana I'm trying to remove the tension. There's absolutely no need. I'm here, and my ministry officials, they know we are here to work with you. Our parliamentarians are here to work with everyone. There's absolutely no need. Why would kana kuti panoda kutukomwe kana kupokoteromwe yakapfuura yakatopfuura and hatitoke kumashure. And by character you will not draw me there. So we are here as a family. This right show bears testimony to the efforts which are being made by the Second Republic in realigning the legal and regulatory framework to the provisions of our Constitution. The Second Republic, ably led by His Excellency President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, believes in engagement and unity of purpose. This is why, as government, we made and continue to make decisions to have these consultative processes as we realign our laws to the Constitution. The Constitution is people-driven, endorsed by the people of this country, and it's important to make sure that we realign all our laws to the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that we will all work together during this process and come up with a law that speaks to the needs of the Zimbabwe media sector and its practitioners, as well as our vision as a nation, ensuring that we leave no one behind and no place behind as we march towards Vision 2030. And when you spoke about the history of where we have come from, of this emotional journey which you referred to, Tabani, you spoke about how it all started in 1994 at Quality Hotel, and you are still there, and there's no matter when it started. And you spoke about, you spoke glowingly about the support you got from the then minister, Nangava, who is now our president, and how he spoke about the importance of professionalizing the industry, professionalizing the sector, and also the importance of self-regulation. So we are here to say, let's move on. This is our time. We need to get there. I made a proposal for this all stakeholders roadshow to be held after a few stakeholders had engaged in several failed attempts to draft and agree on a position paper with the Media Practitioners Draft Bill. Numerous deliberations were conducted after they had come up with two separate drafts in which efforts were futile and parties reached a deadlock. As a way forward, I finally directed the ministry to draft a position paper. That is the Media Practitioners Draft Bill before you. This bill, which will be used on this platform to lead discussions for all stakeholders' input with the guidance of Attorney General's office, is here for you, and I repeat and I emphasize. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here to ensure that we continuously cover up all legal gaps by coming up with the Media Practitioners Draft Bill that will speak to our sector. This is our sector together. We want to grow it together. A few areas are still that affect the media, and we therefore continue to engage with all the stakeholders to ensure that we create a more favorable working environment for the media practitioners to operate in. In the process of repealing the IPA, that is the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act, legal vacuums were created. And when you were talking about how you were left, did you say in the desert? We will never go there, and that will never be allowed. IPA was repealed, and in its place was enacted the Freedom of Information Act, Chapter 10.33, the Zimbabwe Media Commission Act, Chapter 10.35, and the Freedom of Information Regulations 2020. And all this was done in an effort to realize the freedom of expression. The ministry has crafted a position paper for the Media Practitioners Draft Bill, which will then focus on core regulations in our sector. Of paramount importance is that the Media Practitioners Draft Bill will embrace the principles of core regulation. This will be done by ensuring that the media will be democratically held accountable, without fear or favor or violence or any harm to media personnel. This draft bill will also encompass registration of media houses, accreditation of journalists, and will also provide a framework for disciplining media practitioners who would have breached a code of conduct which is applicable to them. Ladies and gentlemen, let me implore all stakeholders present to play your part by participating in this roadshow through contributions towards this draft bill and ensuring that we all come up with a well-rounded law. I'm also humbled by commendable unity of purpose which has been demonstrated by all of you through attending this roadshow. A holistic law is achieved through partnerships, collaborations, contribution, and coordination. These consultative processes through roadshows are worthwhile investment, since they are geared towards coming up with sound legislation. Being part of this roadshow is a great opportunity for us to craft a law that caters for all our needs in the media environment that we operate in. Therefore, do not take this meeting for granted. We are making history. Tapinda ndiri politician, ndinoenda kuti kuchechi. Journalist awamberi applaud the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe, represented here by Mr. Nigel Nyamtungu, and the Media Institute for Southern Africa, represented by Mr. Tamani Moyo, your supporting partners, for sponsoring this lecture. Let's say more go together to We would also like to thank the Attorney General's office for taking their time to be here today with us. More go to the Attorney General's office. And is safe for coming here. I do not want to take too much of the time. I know not my politicians are going to make I therefore wish you fruitful and productive deliberation and encourage you to use this platform to make progress and avoid unnecessary debates. Zimbabwe and the said, we are all in a war. And so as Zimbabwe, let's stop digging. The best is to bring the best out there, put it on the table, and find the best way forward. It is my firm belief that this workshop will provide that best practice-oriented recommendations towards attaining a progressive and innovative piece of legislation. Together, we can come up with a good law in Zimbabwe. And Permanent Secretary didn't ask me, am I officially opening this? And therefore, I am happy to officially open this right show. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of thunderous applause. We are very happy we have started on this positive note. My next presenter here, I would like to think that he is ever ready, soft but firm.